This goddamn bastard is our protagonist, and he has such a skill that all men are desperately crying to get some. Women too, I guess. One day, when he reached school, there was no one. Not a single fucking ant. The entire road was empty. Even when he got home, there was no one. His dad had gone to buy milk. But then, he noticed something weird as shit. The clock seemed to have stopped. Not just the clock, the entire world appeared to be frozen. Just then, with a sparkling shine, a goddamn mommy angel with a majestic aura appeared in front of Seo Jun, confirming that the entire earth had stopped except for him. This shocked the hell out of him. Seo Jun asked who she was. After pausing dramatically, he sarcastically replied, "A home intruder." This made the angel furious. While pointing at her beautiful wings, her gorgeous body, and her big milkers, she asked again, "Isn't it obvious?" Seo Jun, completely unfazed, casually replied, "She's definitely a fucking cosplayer." Annoyed as hell but somehow maintaining her composure, she explained her name was Lila, God's emissary. The reason she had come here was because Seo Jun had been left behind. Hearing the words, "left behind," triggered a bad trauma. We got a flashback of how, since childhood, everyone seemed to leave him behind in all situations, like he didn't even exist. Depressed as hell, he fell to the ground. But the big question lingered. Where the hell is the entire Earth's population? Lila explained that Earth was about to change. Monsters and dungeons would come. As of now, humans couldn't defend themselves and needed to gain a system and all that bullshit. That's why God sent the entire population to another world for 10 freaking years to train and level up. Hearing all this, Seo Jun, with dead inside eyes, asked, "What about me?" Lila explained that there was a slight error. Seo Jun's stealth skill was so great that even God missed him, and he was left alone. Hearing this, Seo Jun became enraged. He screamed, "How does a god that stupid even exist?" He collapsed onto the floor, groaning, "How can a god that stupid even exist? I have to go to another world to learn." Lila tried to calm him, explaining that the merciful god took pity on him and decided to grant him a bonus. Seo Jun, still lying on the floor like a child, cried, saying he didn't need a bonus. He just wanted to go to the fantasy world. Lila slapped Seo Jun on the back to bring him to his senses. She reassured him, saying that the Earthlings would return in 10 years. Until then, she would take care of him, feeding him and fulfilling his every fantasy. Every? Are you also thinking the same? When Seo Jun asked what he was supposed to do for the next 10 years, Lila smiled kindly and said she would help him train his body to prepare for the catastrophe. Seo Jun protested, saying he couldn't learn mana or damage monsters. In her charismatic tone, Lila replied that Seo Jun didn't need mana. He just needed to become physically stronger. Hearing this, Seo Jun's soul practically left his body. He stared blankly at the ceiling, muttering, "Is this angel dumb?" Once again, he collapsed to the floor, crying, "I have to go to another world." And so, Seo Jun's lonely life on Earth for 1,000 years began. After that, the scene shifted, revealing that the whole world was empty. Different countries like the USA, Italy, and China were completely devoid of people. There wasn't a single person in sight anywhere. Bullet trains stood still in their tracks, abandoned. We came to know that 5 years had passed since humans disappeared from Earth. The focus shifted to Seo Jun, who was running on a treadmill. Not only that, but he diligently trained his legs and chest in the gym. Afterward, he lifted dumbbells and did heavy training. Seo Jun had built a dangerously sculpted six-pack body, ready to beat the hell out of monsters when they finally arrived on Earth. While building his body, Seo Jun reflected on how, while others in another fantasy world were developing mana, restraining monsters, and learning magic, all he could do was work his ass off. Seo Jun spent his time focused solely on strength training, tirelessly lifting dumbbells. Meanwhile, the angel Lila watched him from behind, curiously observing his dedication. At one point, Lila asked, "Hasn't Seo Jun gotten bored of following the same routine for 5 years? How can he do the exact same thing every single day?" Seo Jun, frustrated, replied that he had no choice. There was nothing else he could do. Lila agreed and continued to watch him train. Lila noticed that in just 5 years, Seo Jun had developed muscles like a world-class fighter. Not only that, but his body had become damn hot and handsome. His strength had improved drastically, and his patience was astounding. Lila marveled at his focus, thinking to herself how unusual it was for anyone to concentrate so hard on one thing for so long. Curious, Lila asked, "Is Seo Jun really no ordinary person?" She already knew that Seo Jun had avoided the eyes of the gods with his legendary strength technique, but she hadn't realized just how talented he truly was. Hearing her mention the strength technique, Seo Jun was startled. He became visibly traumatized as the memories flooded back. Lila quickly changed the subject, sensing his discomfort. Afterward, Seo Jun and Lila had a playful fight. Lila smiled warmly, and Seo Jun thought about how she was the only person on Earth he could talk to. This thought brought a warm smile to his face as well. Lila began visiting Seo Jun weekly. She prepared all of his meals, and Seo Jun noticed how his table magically filled with food during mealtime. Honestly, he found the food better than his mom's cooking. As soon as he finished eating, the dishes disappeared and were washed away. Lila had become Seo Jun's personal maid. Then, one day, Seo Jun told her that he had pushed his body as far as possible physically and humanly. Now, it was time for him to learn martial arts. Lila pointed out that there was no one left on Earth to teach him martial arts. Seo Jun admitted he didn't know how, but the internet was still running, and he planned to learn martial arts from YouTube. The scene shifted, showing Seo Jun holding a long stick, practicing spearmanship with intense dedication for hours. From behind, Lila advised him to focus on his basic movements. She reminded him that, with 5 years to train, there was no need to push his body so hard. But Seo Jun pushed himself to the extreme, relentlessly training with unwavering dedication. Lila watched him with a kind smile. For years passed, and Seo Jun mastered spearmanship. One day, Lila had an idea. Excitedly, she suggested that sparring with her would help him improve even more quickly. By this time, the relationship between Lila and Seo Jun has grown strong, and Seo Jun calls her Nona. However, Seo Jun pauses and tells Lila not to think that just because she's an angel or a female, he won't hit her. Seo Jun strongly believes in gender equality. He punches her, declaring that she will now feel the power of his 9 years of loneliness. As Seo Jun prepares to strike again, Lila, like a true Sigma, effortlessly lifts her hand and throws him far away. The scene shifts to show Seo Jun's face completely ruined from the encounter. He is beaten and battered. Lila then taunts Seo Jun, saying that from now on, she will be his trainer. Although Seo Jun did not want to train with Lila, he had no choice, and so their intense training began. 10 years passed by. Lila had dressed Seo Jun in a suit and boots, confidently stating that as soon as a low-level monster comes to Earth, Seo Jun will be able to defeat them easily. She emphasized that because she personally taught him, Seo Jun would face no difficulty in overcoming them. However, after hearing this, Seo Jun felt annoyed and remarked that it would be more accurate to say Lila beat him rather than trained him. Hearing his response, Lila gave a warm smile. Looking at Seo Jun's face for what felt like the last time, she softly said that 10 years had passed by, and she hadn't even realized how quickly the time flew. Lila assured him that when the apocalypse comes, she is certain that Seo Jun will survive. Seo Jun shook her hand and said that he too would like to meet her again someday. Finally stepping out of his house, Seo Jun thought about how long it had been since he last saw other people. Nervousness crept over him. Meanwhile, Lila watched from above, reflecting on how spending 10 years with Seo Jun had created a connection between them. As Lila prepared to leave, Seo Jun felt a flicker of happiness at the thought of finally meeting other people. However, 10 to 15 minutes passed, and not a single soul came to greet him. The silence was deafening. Seo Jun realized that something was wrong. Anger boiled within him. He demanded that Lila explain why no one had come yet. Lila, trying to look cute, hesitantly explained that it seemed there had been a small mistake. She said she had just spoken to God, who informed her of a glitch. Hearing this, Seo Jun's anger erupted. He collapsed to the floor, shaking his hands like a child, overwhelmed by the news. Lila explained that the glitch had caused a disruption in the timeline. Although 10 years had passed on Earth, it might not have been 10 years for other humans. Lila admitted that even she didn't know how long Seo Jun would have to stay. Hearing this, Seo Jun started crying. He lamented that he had endured because he believed he only needed to wait 10 years. Now, he didn't even know if he would need to wait 10, 20, or even 50 years. In frustration, Seo Jun declared that even if he had to wait 10,000 years, he would stay and wait until the end. Years turned into decades. 10, 20, 50, and even 70 years passed, yet no humans returned to Earth. The scene shifted to show Seo Jun living on a mountain, practicing martial arts. With a single punch, he shattered a massive boulder. His eyes were cold-blooded, void of any emotion. Lila observed him from a distance, remarking that Seo Jun had grown far stronger than any normal human. Yet, there was no expression on his face. Over 60 or 70 years had passed, and Seo Jun had stopped counting time altogether. Concerned, Lila asked him what was wrong. Seo Jun replied that after so many years, he no longer even remembered his mother's face. Damn, hearing this, Lila felt sad and apologized. She attempted to comfort him, but before she could finish, Seo Jun threw down his martial arts boulder and declared that he was bored of martial arts. Without another word, he began walking away. Lila panicked, fearing that Seo Jun might be considering suicide. She tried to stop him, saying that at any time, the people from the other Earth could arrive. Her anxiety grew as she wondered if Seo Jun was so depressed that he might end his life. But Seo Jun reassured her, stating that he knew people would eventually return to Earth. Hearing this, Lila realized that Seo Jun hadn't fallen into despair. Relieved, she happily accompanied him. The scene shifted to a library where Seo Jun was reading books. One by one, he devoured texts on general knowledge, history, geography, physics, chemistry, arts, and fantasy. There wasn't a single book that Seo Jun didn't read. After finishing the library, Seo Jun began touring the world with Lila. Together, they visited famous places, taking pictures along the way. These moments brought happiness to Seo Jun, creating cherished memories of their travels. Decades passed. After 40 to 50 years, Seo Jun had read every book on Earth. Lila was deeply impressed by his dedication. With a gentle expression, she placed her hand on her cheek and asked Seo Jun what he planned to do now that he had read everything. Seo Jun laughed and said there was still much to do before the apocalypse. Hearing this, Lila felt a mix of relief and sadness. Even after hundreds of years, Seo Jun refused to give up. With tears in her eyes, Lila joined her hands and prayed to God. She begged him to send other people to Earth before Seo Jun could fall into complete despair and contemplate suicide. Damn, all these years, and he didn't smash that angel. See, it looked like Seo Jun's little PP is no peeing anymore. After that, the scene shifted, and Seo Jun arrived at a dense jungle. There, a massive fat pig stood in his path, which Seo Jun swiftly killed with a single precise spear strike. Following this, Seo Jun shared his journey with us, explaining that after reading every book on Earth, he began studying butchering and blacksmithing. Armed with various tools, Seo Jun delved into the art of butchering, starting with the pig he had just killed. Just like that, again, many years passed by, and Lila revealed to us that 274 years had passed since humans left Earth, leaving Seo Jun completely alone. Even for an angel like Lila, the solitude was unbearable. She admitted that if she had been alone, she might have lost her sanity. It amazed her that Seo Jun, a human with a typical lifespan of less than a century, had survived nearly 300 years. While Seo Jun's body remained ageless, his mind showed signs of wear, his mental state aging rapidly. The scene shifted to Seo Jun wearing a psychopathic smile, his mouth smeared with blood, clearly enjoying the act of butchering. For the next 20 to 30 years he practiced relentlessly, attempting to butcher every animal on Earth. Finally, he stood before a massive sperm whale, determined to butcher it. However, Lila firmly said no. She warned that killing the whale would ruin Earth's equilibrium. Seo Jun argued that it only needed to be done once, and despite Lila's protests, he proceeded with the task. Once Seo Jun mastered butchering, he moved on to blacksmithing. This new endeavor brought immense frustration, as every sword he crafted repeatedly broke. It took him 5 long years to forge even a shabby sword. When the poorly made weapon was complete, it couldn't even cut a vegetable. Lila picked up the sword, her eyes sparkling with fascination, and teased Seo Jun, remarking that it couldn't even cut a radish. Seo Jun grew irritated at her comments, but Lila continued to admire the sword, holding it with affectionate eyes, declaring it special because it was Seo Jun's first creation. She promised to keep it safe forever. Laughing to herself, she flew away with the sword, leaving Seo Jun fuming with anger. In private, Lila hugged the sword, cherishing it deeply. She declared that she would treasure it for the rest of her life. Meanwhile, Seo Jun progressed from daggers to spears, axes, and hammers, creating every weapon imaginable. Decades passed, with Seo Jun crafting weapons tirelessly, even watching YouTube tutorials for guidance. After 50 years, Seo Jun still wasn't satisfied with his work. He continued hammering, pouring centuries into perfecting his craft. Finally, after 100 years, Seo Jun created a legendary sword, a masterpiece aligned with his destiny. Lila was astonished, admitting that it was the finest steel weapon she had ever seen. Even in heaven, she marveled at how it surpassed the weapons made with mana stones, which would eventually appear on Earth alongside the monsters. Smiling warmly, Lila praised Seo Jun, calling him extraordinary. The scene shifted again to Seo Jun, resuming his martial arts training. After mastering butchering and blacksmithing, he dedicated himself to honing his combat skills. Years blurred together as Seo Jun immersed himself in training, hardly noticing the passage of time. Lila observed him quietly, her expression growing more concerned. Thousands of years had passed, and she worried that Seo Jun's limit might soon be reached. She feared what would happen if humans never returned to Earth. The thought of Seo Jun having experienced everything Earth had to offer weighed heavily on her. She realized that as long as Seo Jun found new challenges, he could keep himself occupied. But what would happen when there was nothing left? Suddenly, an idea sparked in Lila's mind. She considered offering Seo Jun something he had never experienced before, something that might reignite his unyielding spirit. Lila realized that, throughout the centuries she has spent with Seo Jun, he has remained a single, virgin, and lonely figure. She blushes at the thought of an opposite-sex relationship being the key to keeping Seo Jun from slipping into depression. The idea sends a tingling sensation across her body. Embarrassed, she starts hitting a tree next to her, murmuring to herself about how ridiculous her thoughts are. "I'm an angel. How could I think of such vulgar things?" Lila whispers in shame, but her mind doesn't rest. She convinces herself that her mission is to help Seo Jun. It's the order of God, after all. With determination, Lila rationalizes her thoughts. "This isn't my desire. It's a duty. If I must entertain Seo Jun to keep him from falling into despair, then so be it." She blushes even harder, mumbling incoherent words as she paces. Meanwhile, Seo Jun looks up at her, confused by her mumbling and odd behavior. Finally, he shouts, "What are you doing up there?" Lila, startled, nervously descends from the tree and approaches Seo Jun. As she steps closer, she finds herself standing inches from his face. The two lock eyes, and for a few tense moments, they can feel each other's breath. Seo Jun breaks the silence, remarking with a straight face, "Lila, you're standing too close." Lila, overcome with shyness, wonders if Seo Jun has figured out her intentions. She panics internally, but before she can respond, Seo Jun points out that the sword she's carrying is shaking violently. Lila looks down at the sword, Seo Jun's first creation, the one she swore to cherish forever. Suddenly, the sword shoots into the air, flying at an insane speed. Lila gasps in shock and immediately takes flight, chasing after it. "I can't lose this," she thinks. This sword isn't just a weapon. It's a symbol of everything Seo Jun has created during his time on Earth. As Lila ascends higher and higher into the atmosphere, something strange begins to happen. The world around them starts to change. A brilliant sparkle surrounds Seo Jun, and objects he had crafted over the centuries begin to vanish. The training dummy disintegrates, and even the sweater Seo Jun is wearing starts to disappear. Seo Jun looks around in disbelief as he realizes the Earth is returning to its original state. Lila, still chasing the sword, finally catches it at the edge of the Earth's atmosphere. She clutches it tightly, praying to God, "Please don't take this from me. This is all I have left of Seo Jun." But as she looks down, she notices the transformation happening below. The Earth is resetting itself. She realizes, with a heavy heart, that perhaps humanity is returning as well. Suddenly, Seo Jun begins to float into the air, rising at an incredible speed in the opposite direction of Lila. Lila watches in horror, shouting his name, but she can't reach him. Tears begin to well in her eyes as she realizes this might be the end. "This can't be how it ends," she screams in despair. Lila's voice quivers as she prays to God. "This is too much. You didn't even give me the chance to say goodbye." Clutching the sword tightly, she watches Seo Jun disappear into the distance. Her heart aches as she reflects on the thousands of years she spent with him. For the first time, she acknowledges how much she has grown to care for Seo Jun in her final moments on Earth. Lila whispers to herself, "At least I have his sword." But as she vanishes into the air, she lets out a frustrated sigh and says, "In the end, we didn't even kiss." And just like that, Lila disappears. Meanwhile, Seo Jun feels a profound sadness as he floats away. He regrets not giving Lila a proper farewell. As he reflects on the 1,000 years they spent together, he realizes that Lila was the only reason he didn't fall into despair. Her presence gave him purpose. Seo Jun vows to meet her again someday. He wonders if becoming a higher being, like Lila, would allow him to see her one last time in heaven. Both Seo Jun and Lila are left with heavy hearts, yearning to meet each other again. And damn, how in God's name did Seo Jun survive 1,000 years without even masturbating? After that, the scene shifts, and we see the world slowly returning to normal. People who had vanished from the streets resume walking. Students return to their schools as if no time has passed. The metro begins operating again, and everything appears as it was before. The earth has regained its rhythm. Seo Jun finds himself standing in the exact spot where he started his journey 1,000 years ago. Time seems to have come full circle. As Seo Jun opens his eyes, a system notification appears before him, displaying his status. The title, Cosmic Loner, is prominently shown, along with his stats: Strength 72, Health 78, Detox 81. His active skill, Stealth, is at max level, a skill that cannot be removed. Additionally, Seo Jun has received a special bonus. Every time he levels up, his stats will increase by 5 points. A true game share. As Seo Jun processes the information, he realizes that the Earth has indeed reverted to its former state. Looking around, he hears people talking about finally returning to Earth after 10 years. Seo Jun, however, knows the truth. For him, it wasn't 10 years. It was 1,000 years. Yet the other humans don't seem happy. Their stats and levels have been reset to level 1. Seo Jun is surprised to see that, while his level is also 1, his stats remain intact. This anomaly confuses him further. But then he notices something strange. Despite being surrounded by a crowd, no one acknowledges Seo Jun's presence. Finally, Seo Jun examines his status window carefully and discovers the reason. His max-level stealth skill ensures that he remains unnoticed, even by gods. Seo Jun realizes that this skill is the reason why he has always been invisible to others, even since his childhood. No matter how hard he tries, he cannot deactivate the skill. Frustrated, he grabs his head and screams, "Am I truly destined to be alone forever?" Sadness engulfs him. Seo Jun walks home, his emotions in turmoil. He feels a bittersweet joy at seeing humans again, but wonders if he can ever fully connect with them. Arriving at his house, Seo Jun anticipates seeing his mother for the first time in 1,000 years. However, he's nervous. He has forgotten her face. When Seo Jun steps inside, his mother immediately calls his name. For the first time in a millennium, Seo Jun sees his mother. She becomes overwhelmed with emotion, rushing to embrace him. Seo Jun feels a flood of memories returning, and tears well up in his eyes. An emotional scene unfolds between mother and son. Seo Jun's mother lovingly cups his cheeks, and they share a warm hug. The smells of dinner cooking in the kitchen, the sizzling sound from the frying pan, and his father reading the newspaper at the dining table. All of it is as it used to be. Yet something feels slightly off. Seo Jun's father, while reading the news, comments about the absence of information on the Heisen country in the paper. This piques his mother's curiosity, and she asks if Seo Jun's father had been in Heisen country during their time in the fantasy world. She mentions her own place called Yamen. Seo Jun feels increasingly awkward as the conversation shifts to their experiences in the fantasy world. His father recounts how Heisen was a perfect place, except for one problem. There was no rice. He also struggled to control mana, describing it as an impossible task. Seo Jun's mother agrees, saying she too couldn't figure out mana manipulation. Then his mother turns her attention to Seo Jun, asking him which country he had been in. Seo Jun begins sweating profusely, his nose watering. Panic grips him as he recalls the 1,000 years he spent alone with a powerful angel, Lila. Seo Jun decides it's best to hide the truth. He stammers and tells his mother that he was in a place so remote that even he doesn't know its name. Seo Jun's heart races as he tries to dodge further questions, his mind consumed with memories of Lila and the 1,000 years they shared. After hearing this, Seo Jun's dad remarks that the mana thing was extremely difficult and he couldn't manage it. Seo Jun's mom adds that, while mana wasn't as challenging for her, there was one big issue in the other world. Even babies, pregnant women, and elderly men were forced to work hard for 10 years. She expresses that it might have been better if only the younger people were sent to the other world. Seo Jun listens and tries to explain, saying that if people had been left behind on Earth, the equilibrium would have been ruined, leaving them isolated. But before he can finish, Seo Jun abruptly stops, realizing he cannot reveal his past experiences. His mom, noticing his hesitation, questions him, asking what he means by 1,000 years and equilibrium balance. Seo Jun awkwardly brushes it off, claiming that he hasn't slept well since arriving in the other world, and that's why he's speaking nonsense. His mom, excited by the conversation, eagerly tells Seo Jun that she's heard of people earning huge sums of money by mastering mana and hunting monsters. She explains that monster corpses are incredibly valuable. Seo Jun's dad agrees, stating that the Earth's impending changes mean people with mana will become highly valuable assets as the old systems and structures will be replaced entirely. Only those with mana will thrive in this new world. Seo Jun, however, feels deeply awkward listening to his parents fantasizing about mana and powers. Saddened, Seo Jun decides to share a serious truth with them. In a solemn tone, Seo Jun admits that he cannot use mana. His parents pause for a moment, their expression serious. Then his mom bursts into laughter, reassuring Seo Jun in a kind tone that it's not a big deal. She points out that neither she nor his dad can use mana, so it's only natural that Seo Jun might not have inherited the ability. She tells him to simply focus on his studies. Seo Jun's dad, with a chuckle, claims he always suspected this outcome. He jokes that their bad genes might have been passed on to Seo Jun. The three share a light-hearted moment, laughing together. Seo Jun's mom begins recounting her experiences in the other world, while Seo Jun expresses his happiness at finally being reunited with his family. Later, Seo Jun heads to his room, only to be shocked. Everything Seo Jun had crafted over the years has disappeared. Everything except the 100-year-old blacksmith weapon he made. Seo Jun, puzzled, wonders why it alone remains. He had assumed it would vanish when the world reset. Suspecting that Lila might have done something, Seo Jun begins practicing martial arts and spearmanship with the weapon, testing its power against beginner-level monsters. As Seo Jun inspects the spear, its stats catch his attention. The weapon is of unique grade, boasting an attack power of 800 and a durability of 500. Seo Jun is stunned. It's a miracle that such a weapon was forged by a human using steel alone, without mana. The spear's strength and steadiness make it appear as though it were crafted from a dragon's bone. Still, Seo Jun sits at his desk, unsure if these stats truly reflect the weapon's potential. Turning to the internet, he searches for more information about weapons created by those who returned from the other world. Seo Jun learns that leveling up is the primary focus in this transformed world. He discovers that an average person can only battle monsters up to 5 levels higher than their own. For instance, the first monsters to appear here, slimes, are weak and easily defeated with normal weapons. Seo Jun notes that one must be at level 7 to qualify as a lower-ranked soldier, while level 10 unlocks basic classes like swordsman or archer. Reaching level 50 makes a person strong enough for second-class advancement, and level 100 opens the door to third-class advancement, marking someone as a national treasure. Beyond this, the grueling conditions for fourth-class advancement are so intense that no one has been documented achieving it. Seo Jun reads that legendary monsters such as dragons or behemoth are believed to exist at these levels. Pondering this information, Seo Jun contemplates returning to school, wondering if the education system will even remain functional in this new world. He reflects on how life seems normal now, but senses deep within that monumental changes are imminent. Feeling a pang of sadness, Seo-jun thinks about how much he misses Lila. As soon as Lila crosses his mind, a voice interrupts, teasing that Lila would be glad to hear that Seo-jun misses her. If you don't like this video, then comment why, and if you like it, then like it. Startled, Seo-jun snaps into alert mode, scanning his surroundings and demanding to know who spoke. To his astonishment, a petite, angelic figure appears before him, introducing herself as Martha. She claims to have been sent from heaven to help Seo-jun acclimate to Manhwa. Seo-jun, now visibly agitated, shouts at the intruder. His eyes widen in disbelief as he takes in her appearance. Martha, tiny yet exuding an aura of divine authority, explains that she is not an intruder but an angel sent to assist him. Seo-jun, however, is left speechless. The realization dawns on him. Another intruder has entered his life. But what in the name of holy moly? The angel's size is around my dick size. AA explained that Manhwa is hard to manage, which is why God sent her to assist Seo-jun. Seo-jun, with an annoyed face, tells AA that he doesn't need her help and she can leave. However, AA claims that someone begged God like crazy to help Seo-jun. So God sent her, an angel, to assist the one left behind on Earth and familiarize him with Manhwa. Hearing this, Seo-jun immediately realizes that it must have been his beloved Lila. He asks why Lila didn't come herself. AA explains that the higher-ups were concerned about an angel and a human becoming too close, so they chose her instead of Lila. Observing Seo-jun carefully, AA becomes confused. She checks Seo-jun's entire body, reviewing his stats, and claims that Lila's reports are different from what she can see. AA grows extremely annoyed, thinking Seo-jun can easily destroy a low-ranked monster with just his fists. She remembers Lila crying like a pup, claiming that Seo-jun was a helpless loner who did nothing for 1,000 years, and that he was the only one who couldn't use Manhwa. Lila even begged God to help, saying Seo-jun really needed support, or he would die. AA realizes that love can change a person. She thinks to herself, wasn't Lila supposed to be an innocent angel, not a cunning fox? AA then tells Seo-jun that she will support him with mana usage. She explains that her presence around Seo-jun will help him become accustomed to mana. Since he already spent 1,000 years with Lila, he should be able to gain mana by next year. Seo-jun, hearing this, makes an annoyed face and asks if AA will be staying with him. AA confirms with a calm tone that she will be with him 24 hours a day. She reassures Seo-jun not to worry because she cast a spell to prevent others from seeing her. However, Seo-jun wasn't worried about others seeing her. He was horrified by the realization that Eartha would be with him even in his private bathroom time. His mind flashes to the 1.7 terabytes of Johnny Boy and his Plumber Story collection that he wouldn't be able to watch. Seo-jun grows furious beyond measure. Damn, and bro got 1.7 terabytes worth of porn for the whole country. Suddenly, AA, with a disgusted face, claims she doesn't care what a lower being like Seo-jun does. Seo-jun wonders if AA can read his mind. Maintaining her disgusted face, Earth tells Seo-jun she really doesn't care if he break dances. Zuma's Oregon plays DDR with his little pages. Seo-jun feels damn shy, thinking that he does care. Seo-jun starts complaining again, saying he doesn't want her to be with him, but AA, with a smirking smile, reminds him that as a higher being, she doesn't care about what a lower being does for amusement. This only makes Seo-jun feel more embarrassed, especially when he notices her smirking smile. Seo-jun finally shouts that he misses Lila, but Eartha tells him bluntly to give up. The next day, Seo-jun heads to school, annoyed, as AA sits on his head, swinging her legs carelessly. This behavior irritates Seo-jun to no end. As he walks, he notices patrolling soldiers in the area. Seo-jun realizes that life will never be normal again. His school is no longer a place for learning, but a hub for guiding students on how to deal with the level 1 slimes that are set to invade Earth very soon. As Seo-jun attends class, he is once again invisible. Eartha smugly points out that Seo-jun's stealth skill is far superior to anyone else's. Using this skill, Seo-jun decides to eavesdrop on others to gather information. He overhears discussions about an empress who is famous in another world and about the concept of dungeons. Curious, Seo-jun asks Eartha about these dungeons. Eartha explains that a dungeon is a trap created by God. First, God places food inside the dungeon to lure monsters, trapping them. In addition, God places rewards within these dungeons to tempt humans into entering. Humans kill the monsters to claim the rewards while the dungeon system automatically clears the monsters inside. Humans, she says, can go in and out freely, making it an effective training ground. Seo Jun then suggests keeping the monsters trapped in these dungeons forever. However, Eartha explains that dungeons don't last indefinitely. Over time, they cease to exist. Moreover, there are monsters too powerful to be trapped. These beasts can break barriers and create their own dungeons, making them far more dangerous. AA encourages Seo Jun to hunt monsters to train his mana. The current monsters are weak, but over time, they will grow stronger. Seo Jun, however, worries about his inability to defeat monsters, especially without mana. Finally, the Fatso teacher enters the class, beginning a lecture on how to deal with slimes. The teacher's voice is monotone, yet the urgency of the topic looms over the classroom. Eartha, continuing her observations, points out Seo Jun's superior physique. She claims Seo Jun could defeat monsters up to level 25 with ease, as his stats are nothing like those of a level 1 human. Suddenly, the atmosphere grows tense. Eartha stops mid-sentence, her expression shifting to alarm. She senses something and tells Seo Jun that it's time to test his skills now. Before Seo Jun can react, giant insects appear outside. They're menacing figures ready to destroy the school. Everyone was panicking as they saw the monsters and the dying people outside. The panic erupted when they noticed a huge-ass 10-foot grasshopper, definitely not some small slime they could ignore. The students screamed and started running in every direction. Chaos broke out, and as expected, everyone left Seo Jun alone. Even AA was surprised despite witnessing this kind of scene for the second time. But then, Ko Jun's 1,000 years of inner survival instinct kicked in. Seo Jun noticed his shitty school desk, which he always hated, and thought quickly. Seo Jun muttered to himself that the huge grasshopper looked weaker than a sperm whale, so his makeshift weapon should work. Eartha, curious about what Seo Jun would do next, observed closely. Seo Jun broke a chair leg, started swinging it around, and began sharpening it with focus. Eartha, watching Seo Jun's swift movements, was impressed by his craftsmanship, which was totally different from what Lila had reported. Seo Jun's core strength was astonishing. In mere seconds, Seo Jun transformed the chair leg into a sharp and durable spear with just one swing. A shockwave emanated from the spear, leaving Eartha shocked. Seo Jun was satisfied with his newly made weapon. AA even complimented Seo Jun, saying it was a decent weapon and his craftsmanship was quite good. Seo Jun blushed slightly at the compliment, but Eartha, on the other hand, was annoyed again. She thought about how Lila had begged her, claiming Seo Jun was a pathetic poor soul who couldn't do anything and didn't even know how to wipe his own ass. But reality was totally different from what Lila had said. Earth continued observing Seo Jun as he sharpened his makeshift spear with his bare hands. She couldn't help but admire his body, which was the peak result of extreme training. Eartha was genuinely impressed. Seo Jun, on the other hand, satisfied with his work, prepared 3 more spears and decided to hide his identity. Outside, the insects continued wreaking havoc, destroying everything in sight. Suddenly, a masked Seo Jun emerged, swiftly murdering a monster with a bang. He had simply landed on the insect and it died immediately. Even Seo Jun was confused about how the insect had died so easily, as the system notified Seo Jun of his level up and stat points. He could feel his power increasing. For the first time, he experienced the excitement of leveling up. More insects swarmed, but Seo Jun easily destroyed them. Flying insects attacked, but with a single throw of his spear, he completely obliterated them. Seo Jun soon descended into a frenzy, slaughtering monster after monster like a madman. One mosquito attempted to pierce Seo Jun with its huge-ass stinger, but it couldn't even penetrate his skin. Instead, the insect stinger bit. AA, watching this unfold, was shocked and realized that Seo Jun's body had surpassed the limits of a human. Seo Jun soon found himself surrounded by insects. However, he wiped them out as easily as a kid drinking his mommy's milkers. The system continued to notify Seo Jun of his progress, revealing that he had killed level 6 and level 9 monsters, gaining huge experience and leveling up. Just as Seo Jun started to catch his breath, a bolt of lightning struck, surprising him. The lightning annihilated the remaining monsters in an instant. From the shadows, a masked woman appeared, but something about her mask was off. What the hell was wrong with that mask? Seo-jun was amazed seeing a mage in reality for the first time, but AA quickly reminded him that there were still monsters left. The masked woman effortlessly disintegrated the insects with her lightning, while Seo-jun continued slashing them with precision, leaving all the students in awe. Just then, the army arrived to take control of the situation, but they were shocked to see that the monsters were already dead. They noticed a weird masked boy with his whole hand inside the insect's ass, doing God knows what. Well, Seo-jun was actually dismembering the monsters for monotones. As Seo-jun continued to butcher the monsters, the system notified him that his butchering level had reached maximum. Everyone watched in shocked silence as Seo-jun worked with the precision of an expert. Finally, Seo-jun discovered a crystal, and AA explained that it was a mana stone. But Seo-jun was so immersed in butchering that he didn't realize people were making videos of him and cheering loudly. Seo-jun was startled. This was the first time he had ever received so much attention. AA calmly explained to Seo-jun not to worry, reassuring him that his mask would keep his identity safe. However, just then, the Emperor arrived wearing her weird-ass mask. While touching her hair, she asked Seo-jun in a calm but commanding voice if he would help her with the slaughtering. Seo-jun asks the Empress how much he will earn from butchering, and she responds 40%. Hearing this, Seo-jun immediately starts butchering. Meanwhile, the crowd's attention shifts to the Empress, and they begin drooling over her. Many seem ready to endure her lightning bolt just to get closer, leaving the girlfriends of these admirers furious. The crowd praises the Empress's dangerous lightning bolt, but soon their attention turns back to Seo-jun. They try to recall which weapon he used, but can't agree. Some claim he was shooting a beam with his hand, while others swear it was a lightsaber or axe. In reality, Seo-jun's stealth skill was so exceptional that no one could see what he truly wielded. Thinking about this, Seo-jun feels disheartened and starts crying again. AA, however, encourages him, saying it's a blessing that no one can notice him. She even jokes that Seo-jun could use his stealth for mischievous deeds. Ignoring her, Seo-jun focuses on butchering the monsters, extracting mana stones and handing them over to the Empress. Just as Seo-jun prepares to leave, military men intercept him, stating they need to interrogate him before they can act. A lightning bolt strikes from behind. Assuming it was Seo-jun, they prepare to retaliate, but the Empress steps in, commanding Seo-jun to leave in her serious tone. The crowd breaks into a song of praise for the Empress once more. Taking advantage of the chaos, Seo-jun discreetly grabs his loot and departs. Standing in front of the crowd, Seo-jun realizes that even though he's right there, no one can see him. Frustrated, he yells that he's in front of them, but the crowd assumes he has run away like lightning. This situation leaves Seo-jun feeling sad again. Despite being an introvert who should relish invisibility, AA consoles him, telling him not to overthink. Later, the scene shifts to Seo-jun sitting in a park with all his loot. Eartha asks him what he plans to do with the monster parts. Seo-jun reveals that he intends to craft full monster armor. Eartha taunts him, suggesting he find a trusted blacksmith, but Seo-jun smirks, stating no one can outmatch his skills. Annoyed, Eartha recalls how Lila described Seo-jun as pathetic, claiming he couldn't even cook. Meanwhile, Seo-jun starts blushing at the mention of Lila and asks AA if she's missing her too. Eartha admits she misses Lila, but only to punch her for lying. Skeptical about Seo-jun's capabilities, AA asks if he knows anything about mana crafting. Seo-jun confesses he has no clue, prompting AA to declare she will teach him. Seo-jun gets excited, but in his enthusiasm, he accidentally touches AA in her no-no zone. AA's body tingles, and she feels violated and angry. She scolds Seo-jun, vowing not to teach him until he learns to behave. However, her shyness kicks in as she explains the basics of mana crafting. She tells Seo-jun that it involves using mana crystals, similar to magic stones, to create artifacts that grant special powers to items like armor and weapons. Hearing this, Seo-jun's excitement peaks, but AA, still flustered, angrily decides to confront Lila. Furious, she swears to tell Lila to control her man. Afterward, Eartha explains that Seo-jun needs to create his gear using the monster materials near the mana stone of the same monster. She elaborates that he should powder the mana stone and sprinkle it on the equipment like salt to achieve powerful enchanted gear. Eartha warns that this process will be difficult, but Seo-jun confidently claims, "I won't know until I try." AA further explains that gear can be infused with different abilities and effects. Without hesitation, Seo-jun immediately begins crafting gear. In a matter of seconds, he skillfully creates arm and knee guards, leaving Eartha stunned. Seo-jun wastes no time and starts the enchantment process. He grinds the mana stone into powder and begins sprinkling it over the equipment, closing his eyes. Seo-jun imagines the appearance of the gear he desires. AA watches in awe as she realizes how talented Seo-jun truly is. She dares to believe he might succeed on his first try. However, Eartha notices a problem. Seo-jun's mana stone is not enough. Recognizing the issue, Eartha steps in, channeling her own mana to assist him. With a whoosh, the enchantment process is complete. Seo-jun succeeds and successfully crafts his gear. Impressed, A looks at Seo-jun and wonders if his talent might exceed even her expectations. As soon as Seo-jun completes the enchantment, a strong aura envelopes his entire body. The system notifies Seo-jun that his mana crafting level has increased to level 2. Eartha watches in awe, initially unsure if the enchantment succeeded, but her doubts vanish as Seo-jun confidently wears his enchanted armor. With a slight turn of his hand, a thick iron rod is cleanly cut in two. It's then revealed that Seo-jun has integrated the grasshopper's scythe into his armor as a weapon. Eartha is shocked by his ingenuity, exclaiming that combining a monster's attack ability into armor is not normal. But before AA can express her thoughts, Seo-jun suddenly runs off after realizing his attack destroyed the park. The scene shifts to news reports where Seo-jun, referred to as Usain Bolt, is depicted alongside a photo of the Empress. The military issues a notice to report sightings of them. Meanwhile, as Seo-jun prepares to hunt monsters, his mother expresses concern, sensing danger outside. AA and Seo-jun realize that his mother has an uncanny ability to sense him from a distance. Seo-jun, annoyed by her extreme surveillance, reflects that he can't even relax in his room without her knowing. Eartha suggests this could be a mother's skill, something innate and highly useful for survival. Seo-jun imagines himself trapped among crowds, only for his mother to immediately locate him. AA then asks Seo-jun if he's considering joining the government unit, but Seo-jun firmly states that he prefers working alone. However, Seo-jun mentions his desire to meet the Empress. Hearing this, Earth's face contorts in disgust, and she teasingly asks if Seo-jun is interested in the Empress. Seo-jun denies this with an annoyed expression, explaining he's not currently interested in women. Eartha, ever mischievous, smirks and insinuates, "Could you be gay?" Seo-jun, visibly flustered, vehemently denies it, shouting, "I'm not gay. I'm straight." Despite his loud outburst, Seo-jun's godlike stealth skill ensures no one notices him, leaving him relieved yet embarrassed. Seo-jun then admits there's only one reason he's not interested in other women. Lila. AA sarcastically agrees, saying that after living with a super angel beauty for 1,000 years, so yes, Seo-jun will become gay for any other women. It can't be helped. AA, however, points out that Seo-jun's ability to incorporate a monster's traits into armor without mana is legendary, even if Seo-jun himself remains unaware of how special he truly is. Suddenly, Eartha senses a pack of monsters nearby, 70 wolves and wild dogs, all around level 35. Seo-jun is shocked and questions why such high-level monsters are appearing on the second day of the apocalypse. Eartha reveals that the first day of the apocalypse should have started with slimes, but the arrival of level 10 monsters had already raised her concerns. When Seo-jun asks why AA hadn't voiced her worries earlier, she responds with a disgusted look, dismissively saying she didn't want to share her worries with a lowly being. Seo-jun, annoyed by Earth's rude behavior, compares her to Lila. He thinks AA seems like an arrogant rich girl, quick to draw lines between classes. In contrast, Lila, while sometimes foolish, had the kindness of an older sister. Lost in his thoughts of Lila, Seo-jun briefly smiles, breaking the moment. AA's tone turns serious as she tells Seo-jun that the Earth is far from normal and insists that she needs his help. As Seo-jun hears Earth's explanation, his condition worsens. The thought of Earth being in danger unsettles him deeply. Eartha, sensing the urgency, sits on Seojun's head and commands him to start running while she explains everything along the way. As Seojun runs, Eartha begins. God teleported all humans to another world because of the approaching apocalypse and trained everyone to use mana. However, God left the animals on Earth untouched, thinking they could survive for 10 years without care. She continues in a more serious tone, but due to an unknown error, the flow of time on Earth was severely distorted. What should have been 10 years in another world became 1,000 years on Earth. Eartha explains further, her voice laced with concern. Because of those 1,000 years, the monsters on Earth evolved dangerously. When mana was introduced, they became even stronger. Hearing this, Seojun is shocked. His mind reels as he processes the fact that he spent 1,000 years alone. He thinks of Lila, remembering her sweet smell and kind presence. Without her, he realizes he wouldn't have survived. Lost in his thoughts, Seojun's pace falters, but Eartha grabs his hair and shouts, "Focus, Seojun. Come back to your senses." Eartha presses on, her voice grave. To sum it up, the monsters on Earth now are far stronger than those in the other world. Seojun's gaze sharpens as he sees bloodthirsty wolves and dogs, each 10 times their normal size, devouring humans with bloody mouths. Seojun dons his mask and, with a dash, he charges into the fray. The wolves attack him, but Seojun easily dodges their moves and pulls out his spear. Eartha, though impressed, is skeptical, wondering if Seojun can handle them. Seojun, however, leaps into the air and upon landing, kills 15 to 20 wolves instantly. The system notifies Seojun that he has gained 12,000 experience points and is the first person to kill a level 35 brown wolf on Earth. Seojun reaches level 9 and his stats increase significantly. AA, shocked, exclaims, "You're incredible." But her tone quickly changes as she teasingly asks, "Seojun, are you a pervert?" This sparks a cute fight between the two, but Seojun quickly focuses back on the battle. With a flick of his spear, he eliminates more oversized dogs. Meanwhile, a group of low-level hunters attempts to fight the wolves using level 5 magic like fireballs, but their attacks are ineffective. Seojun steps in effortlessly, killing another wolf and saving one of the hunters, earning him admiration. The system notifies Seojun again. He has reached level 10, enabling him to advance his class. The crowd begins to recognize his mask, whispering that he must be Su Gainbolt, the mysterious figure who disappears in an instant. Though Seojun is pleased, he finds the nickname lousy and annoying. Eartha congratulates Seojun, but he brushes it off, determined to continue as he slaughters the wolves one by one. His confidence grows despite his dismissive words. Seojun's blushing face betrays his happiness, something Eartha doesn't fail to notice. Suddenly, the wolf leader appears, holding a human hostage. The crowd's excitement turns to fear as they witness the standoff. Eartha warns Seojun that this could be a tough fight, but Seojun smirks. He prepares his spear and declares, "No one can stop me now." Seojun grips his spear tightly, standing ready, his body tensed for action. Behind him, the crowd pulls out their phones, recording his every move while cheering him on. Meanwhile, Eartha observes the scene and reflects that depending on the choice Seojun makes, he could either become a hero or a villain. But Seojun doesn't give a damn about such titles. Without hesitation, he dashes forward, his movements swift and precise. With a single lethal strike, he kills the wolf chief, throwing his spear to take out the wolf and save the man in danger. Standing tall amidst the chaos, Seojun calmly considers his actions. If someone is in danger and he has the power to save them, then he will. However, he knows his limits and only acts within them. Seojun doesn't see himself as a hero. He considers himself just a normal person. Eartha, observing this, feels a pang of second-hand cringe. Seojun, noticing the reaction, quietly muses that finally, after so long, he managed to say something he thought sounded cool, even if it clearly didn't land as intended. Yet, the wolves are far from finished, as more wolves charge toward him. Seojun remains calm, weaponless. He smirks and reminds himself that his spear isn't his only weapon. Years of training have prepared him for moments like this. His voice booms with confidence as he punches a wolf, killing it instantly. Every movement reflects the result of 1,000 years of relentless training under the Queen of Combat. Seojun's command over the core wolves is undeniable. On the other hand, Eartha watches with serious and dedicated focus. He recognizes that Seojun doesn't act recklessly or sacrifice himself to save others. Instead, Seojun is a master of quick, calculated judgments, always choosing the most efficient action for the moment. Eartha quietly acknowledges that Lila, over 1,000 years, has truly raised an incredible force of nature. However, as Eartha continues to observe, he realizes that the combat abilities Seojun is demonstrating now aren't merely Lila's teachings. These are skills Seojun himself honed through his own relentless efforts. Meanwhile, a fan in the crowd, wearing a cap, watches in awe. He proclaims to those around him that Seojun's entire body is his weapon. Every punch, kick, and move he executes is calculated and effective. One by one, the wolves fall to the ground as the battle reaches its peak. Seojun takes a chop that sends him collapsing to the ground in an instant. All the wolves around him drop dead as well. Just as the crowd erupts in celebration, the mood shifts dramatically. A military woman emerges from the shadows, a gun pressed firmly against Seojun's neck, calling his name with authority. Sue. She catches his attention. Seojun turns slowly, his sharp eyes locking on her, noting the entire military unit surrounding him. The crowd, initially jubilant, now grows furious. They shout in outrage, demanding answers from the soldiers. Why are you pointing a gun at him? He killed all the monsters. He saved us. The crowd roars, their voices echoing with anger and confusion. Seojun stands silent but alert, his presence commanding the attention of both the military and the crowd. As the tension in the air becomes almost unbearable, Seojun stands calmly amidst the chaos, his spear firmly in hand, surrounded by the aftermath of his battle. The military woman surveys the scene, her eyes widening as she notices that Seojun has single-handedly killed all the wolves. She's baffled because, despite the military being present, none of them saw how he managed it. Without hesitation, Seojun sits in front of the monstrous wolf chief and begins his butchering, his movements precise and deliberate. The military woman approaches Seojun, her voice firm yet apologetic. She explains that they weren't intending to shoot him, but had mistaken him for a monster. She apologizes once more and clarifies that the entire military had been searching for him. They want to recruit him. However, before she can finish her sentence, Seojun vanishes. Startled, the military personnel exchange glances, realizing that the rumors about Seojun being faster than Flash might actually be true. Moments later, the military woman glances to her left and spots Seojun, engrossed in his butchering. Determined, she tries to convince him to join the military. Seojun refuses without hesitation. When asked if he harbors resentment toward the military, Seojun plainly states that he prefers to work alone. In truth, he finds the idea of joining the military overly restrictive and a hindrance to his efficiency. Eartha silently agrees with Seojun's decision. But as soon as Seojun senses Eartha reading his thoughts again, his annoyance flares. Seojun mutters to himself that Eartha should stay out of his mind. Eartha shrugs nonchalantly, stating she doesn't care about the thoughts of a solitary being. Seojun reiterates that working with the government would only limit his potential, solidifying his stance on working alone as Seojun continues his butchering. The military woman speaks to her comrade, frustrated and slightly humiliated. She laments that no one has ever spoken to her so rudely and contemplates quitting her job. However, her mood suddenly shifts as she becomes determined to recruit Seojun. A bold idea crosses her mind. If it means securing his talents, she'll do whatever it takes. Seojun, maintaining his composed demeanor, bluntly tells the military that if they want the wolves butchered, he'll handle it. But he demands 50% of all proceeds, including mana stones. The military woman has no choice but to agree. As she watches him work, she notices Seojun's legendary skill. She recorded Seojun's butchering in full HD, every slash and strike captured perfectly. With a sly smirk, she sent the video to her superiors. After reviewing it, her superior, clearly impressed, said to do everything to make this guy work for the government, even if you have to seduce him. As Seojun finishes his task, he approaches Han, holding 2 mana stones he retrieved. Seojun wonders aloud if consuming the stones would enhance his mana. Eartha strongly advises against it, warning that the dark aura from the monster could corrupt him. Seo-jun, skeptical of Earth's caution, contemplates ignoring her advice, feeling a strong inclination to test the stones. Time passes, and Han continues to pay Seo-jun handsomely, handing him 37 million. However, in a bold move, Han loosens her uniform, revealing her blushing face, and seductively offers Seo-jun more than just money. She declares she's willing to do anything he needs, even going out with him. Han, confident in her beauty, recalls how people once flocked to her for attention, but Seo-jun doesn't even blink. He ignores her entirely, treating her with the indifference of a middle child in a bustling family. Embarrassed and confused, Han calls out to him, but Seo-jun doesn't stop. Instead, he vanishes, disappearing as swiftly as he arrived. Han stands in stunned silence, marveling at his speed and presence, or rather his lack thereof. She realizes that no matter what she does, Seo-jun remains utterly unfazed. She hasn't reached Lila's level of beauty, and thus, there's no chance of awakening Seo-jun's interest. It was time for him to choose his new class. Seo-jun stood in front of the system notification, observing the numerous classes available: Lancer, Grailer, Swordsman. There were a lot of options. Seo-jun scanned through, looking for RPG classes. He noticed Assassin listed among them. Seo-jun thought that if he selected Assassin, it would enhance his stealth skill even more. However, he wanted to get rid of his stealth skill for now. Eartha explained to Seo-jun that since he did not have mana yet, he was unable to control his stealth skill properly. Seo-jun pondered aloud, thinking that choosing a class to increase his mana might be interesting. AA, however, recommended the Lancer class, explaining that both Lancer and Grailer would enhance his spear skills and raw strength. But Seo-jun recalled how Lila had trained him like a Lancer based on his physical strength. Memories of enduring Lila's training, where he could barely stand for 5 minutes despite training for 1,000 years, flashed through his mind. After a long contemplation, Seo-jun decided he wanted a class that would increase both his mana and strength. Eartha reminded him that he could choose a subclass later, making the decision less critical. Finally, Seo-jun opted for the Lancer class, as he genuinely enjoyed spear play. At that moment, something strange occurred. A new secret class appeared. Surprised, Seo-jun informed AA of the new class called Blood Lancer. Hearing this, Eartha was shocked. She grew serious and told Seo-jun that this was a modified unique job specific only to him. Confused, Seo-jun asked what a unique job meant. AA explained that while most classes were common, available to other hunters, this unique class was exclusive to him. No one else in the world could possess it. Realizing its value, Seo-jun decided to select Blood Lancer. As soon as he made his choice, the system notified Seo-jun of the selection. It revealed that in stealth mode, his attack would increase by 10%, further enhancing his stealth skill. This realization hit Seo-jun hard. In Korean, blood and blur sounded similar, and by choosing Blood Lancer, he had inadvertently upgraded the skill he wanted to rid himself of. AA was equally startled by this development, unsure of what to say. Frustrated, Seo-jun yelled at AA, expressing his dissatisfaction with the class. Eartha reminded him that he was different from others, and that confusion was inevitable. Suddenly, Seo-jun felt a strange sensation within his body. His physique began to evolve. His six-pack abs became more defined, and his entire body felt significantly stronger. Seo-jun realized his power had almost doubled. Eartha explained that this transformation was due to the new class. The system displayed his updated stats: Strength 96, HP 98, Dexterity 102, and Mana 21. Earlier, Seo-jun's mana had been just 2, but it had increased to 21. Seo-jun reluctantly accepted the changes. However, Eartha dropped another bomb. Because of his unique class, Seo-jun would require double the experience points to level up normally. If he were level 50, the same effort would only make him level 25 with this class. Eartha smiled mischievously, telling Seo-jun that while a normal person would struggle, Seo-jun was anything but ordinary. Hearing this, Seo-jun began to blush. Eartha grinned at him and commented that while he was a lower being, Seo-jun was undoubtedly worth watching. Just then, a loud roar erupted from outside, sending waves of fear through the citizens. Everyone is terrified because standing before them is a gigantic bear. something far beyond their ability to kill. Normally, the citizens would be at level 5. But the monsters appearing here have escalated dramatically, now coming in at level 50. The deafening roar reverberates through the air, and despite the fear, the citizens become excited, determined to take on the challenge of killing the bear. They grab their spears and stand ready, prepared to face the colossal beast. Seo-jun notices how the army desperately fires their guns at the giant bear, shooting like madmen, but to no avail. The bear, like a titan, smashes buildings and hurls them toward the soldiers. The highest level soldier present was barely at level 10, while the bear's level was a formidable 55. Weapons had no effect on the bear as it wreaked havoc across the city. Raising its massive paw, the bear roared as if proclaiming itself the king, undefeated and unchallenged. Watching the chaos, Seo-jun puts on his mask and remarks that the bear seems to be having too much fun. AA, observing from her spot, comments that the bear is a big fish in a small pond. Seo-jun smirks, declaring that he is the biggest fish in this pond. Activating his stealth skill, his attack increases by 10%. He leaps into the air, his spear aimed at the bear's head. With precision, Seo-jun strikes, drawing blood from the bear's head. Soldiers, seeing this, cheer in recognition, hoping Seo-jun's bold move will save everyone. But the bear barely feels the attack, brushing it off like a scratch. Seo-jun realizes the danger and quickly shouts for everyone to run, warning them he can't hold the beast off for long. The battle between Seo-jun and the bear resumes. Meanwhile, Eartha, perched on Seo-jun's head, enjoys the ride as if on a roller coaster. Despite unleashing all his strength and skills, Seo-jun struggles to even scratch the bear's thick hide. At that moment, a flashback hits Seo-jun. He remembers his training with Lila. In a serious yet smirking tone, Lila challenges him, promising that if he scratches her, she'll let him sleep in her lap. The thought pumps Seo-jun up, awakening his little PP with excitement, fueled by determination. Seo-jun leaps at Lila, attempting to punch her, but Lila effortlessly counters, sending him crashing to the ground like Yamcha. Despite this, Lila gently places Seo-jun in her lap, stroking his head like a child. In a kind and warm tone, she praises him, showing a strand of hair he managed to cut during their training. "Good job, Seo-jun," she said. Snapping back to the present, Seo-jun channels all his focus and power into a single point. With a mighty bang, he pierces the bear's head. A fountain of blood gushes out, and with a thunderous crash, the bear falls lifeless to the ground. Seo-jun gains 12,900 experience points, advancing to level 23. His stats increase, plus 8 strength, plus 7 dexterity, plus 5 HP, and plus 5 mana. Additionally, he earns the title of level 54 Brown Big Bear First Slayer and 1 strike 1 kill, granting him a 10% boost in critical hit chance. Seo-jun also learns a new critical hit skill, allowing his focused attacks to double in power. Watching this, Eartha remarks that it took Seo-jun 3 attacks to defeat a normal bear. Seo-jun grumbles, wishing she could compliment him just once. Despite her remarks, he feels excited to butcher the massive bear and collect its leather. But as he begins, the bear shrinks in size. Seo-jun realizes it had used a gigantification skill, masking its true form. While Seo-jun is busy butchering, a black car arrives from it. The top young hunters of Korea step out. Seeing them both, AA and Seo-jun sigh in annoyance. The leader of all the new hunters, Sang, a rising star, was clearly shocked. Meanwhile, the brown-haired hunter and the white-haired hunter couldn't hold back their sarcasm, saying they'd heard a monster from Tier 2 had shown up, but they couldn't believe someone wearing a weird-ass mask had taken it down all alone. Sang's eyes locked onto Seo-jun, and he stared at him like he was a big deal. Seeing this, Seo-jun couldn't help but blush. For the first time, someone had actually noticed him. But of course, his excitement didn't last long. AA, as usual, ruined the moment by pointing out that Sang wasn't looking at Seo-jun, he was looking at his goofy mask. That hit Seo-jun hard, and he felt his happiness crumble. Then, to top it off, Sang called him Sang Greenbolt. Great, another nickname to add to the cringe pile. The brown-haired hunter, oozing overconfidence, refused to believe Seo-jun had taken down the bear solo. The group closed in, bombarding Seo-jun with questions like, "What's your deal?" Or, Did you get a second-class awakening? Seo-jun, clearly annoyed, just stared at them in silence. His lack of response made the brown-haired hunter even more irritated. But Sang stepped in, calming his friends and handling the situation like a pro. Watching Sang's smooth social skills, Seo-jun couldn't help but feel jealous. He thought to himself, man, if that were me, I'd probably trip over my words and make it even weirder. Then, to his surprise, Sang walked right up to him and introduced himself again. Seo-jun sat there, totally confused. Was Sang serious right now? Should he shake his hand, or what? But then, Sang, with that ridiculous level of confidence, announced that while he knew Seo-jun was stronger, one day, Sang would surpass him. He even went as far as calling Seo-jun his rival. Hearing this, Seo-jun nearly gagged. Rival? Seriously? Seo-jun didn't want to be anyone's rival or, worse, someone's mother-in-law, as he put it. Feeling completely fed up, Seo-jun asked, "Do you seriously see me as your rival?" And when Sang said yes, Seo-jun snapped. He laid into Sang, asking why he needed someone else to compare himself to. Why do you need a rival to push yourself? Seo-jun practically shouted. If you can't even focus on your own damn progress, how do you have the audacity to compare yourself to others? That shut Sang up, and he quietly slipped away. With a psychotic grin, Seo-jun turned back to the bear and started working on its leather. Once done, the military commander called out to him. Seo-jun was instantly suspicious, assuming they wanted to take his hard-earned loot. But to his surprise, the commander assured him the leather was all his. The commander even handed Seo-jun a secret app that could track monsters in the city. Seo-jun squinted, questioning if using the app might cause problems. But the commander explained that Seo-jun taking down monsters for public safety actually worked in the army's favor. Seo-jun shrugged and started walking away. Meanwhile, one of the commander's subordinates asked why they didn't try recruiting Seo-jun. The commander practically laughed, scolding the guy. Do you really think someone as badass as Sangin Bolt, who can kill monsters in one hit, would want to be bossed around in the army? Seo-jun and AA overheard this, and Eartha couldn't help but chuckle, calling the commander smart for not trying to pull something dumb like recruiting Seo-jun. If they'd pushed their luck, Seo-jun would have wiped the floor with them and left, she said. Seo-jun, however, still didn't get just how powerful and special he was to this world. Using the app, Seo-jun tracked and took out monsters one by one. After clearing them all, he perched on a rooftop, deep in thought. His XP gain was painfully slow. AA explained he needed to target higher-level monsters if he wanted to level up faster. Exhausted, Seo-jun headed home and crashed for the night. But the next morning, his day started with a bang. The system sent him a notification. The connection to the other world had been restored. This meant everyone in Korea could go back and level up, but of course, due to some stupid error, Seo-jun was stuck here again. Seo-jun asks AA why he can't go to the other world, feeling totally fed up. AA, trying to play it cool, explains that monsters on Earth have leveled up big time. That's why God handed humans another shot to bounce over to the other world and get swole. But because of Seo-jun's God-tier skill, he's stuck here. Hearing this, Seo-jun loses it. He shouts at Eartha, his frustration spilling over like a broken dam. He starts bawling, thinking about all the crazy adventures in the fantasy world he's missing out on. But Eartha, keeping her tone calm, tells him he's been riding solo forever anyway. What's the big deal now? Seo-jun doesn't let it go. What about when my mom and dad leave for the other world? What if my mom and dad ask Seo-jun to meet them there? What is he supposed to say? AA, scrambling to calm him down, pitches an idea. She tells him to flex on his parents, claiming he's already too strong to need the other world. Seo-jun rolls his eyes at the plan and mutters how much he hates it. Sensing his frustration, Eartha shifts gears, grows serious, and apologizes. She admits she can't do anything to change his situation right now. Seo-jun, still fired up, asks if this means he'll never get the chance to check out the other world. Eartha reassures him that it's not completely off the table. If Seo-jun levels up to higher being status, not only can he hit up the other world, he'll even get a VIP pass to heaven. Hearing about heaven, Seo-jun's brain immediately snaps to Lila. He wonders if he'll ever get to vibe with her again. Eartha watches from the sidelines, her face scrunching up. Dang, these two are like long-distance lovebirds, she thinks. Then, It hits her. Am I their freaking Cupid? That thought alone has her steaming. She scolds Seo-jun, telling him to train like a beast, become a higher being, and reunite with his so-called love. Refueled with determination, Seo-jun approaches his parents to hash out the next steps. Meanwhile, the news is a madhouse, broadcasting the chaos spreading worldwide as the path to the other world reopens. The military steps in, laying out a plan to split the load. Half the people will head to the other world to train up, while the rest will guard Earth's turf. The other world has basically turned into a dungeon where folks can grind and level up. Seo-jun downs his hot milk, bracing himself to pitch the idea to his parents. He tells them they should head to the other world to bulk up their power levels. His dad brushes him off, saying it's a waste of time. He'd spent 10 years in the other world and still didn't manage a second-class awakening. But Seo-jun pushes back. He argues that the other world is basically a playground now, with the tough monsters already handled, making it prime time to grind safely. His dad, clearly moved by Seo-jun's persistence, flashes a warm smile. He reassures Seo-jun that he'll do his best and promises to check in soon. And just like that, his dad pieces out, teleporting straight to the other world. Seo-jun shakes his head, thinking, yep, 110% sure dad is being naughty in another world. Seo-jun's mom, blindsided, is left standing there half-shocked. Later, during dinner, she praises Seo-jun for holding it down but warns him to play it safe and not get reckless. Seo-jun brushes it off, saying he's got no power and isn't a hunter. But his mom, giving him a look, lets him know she's onto him. That masked guy tearing it up on TV, it's obviously him. After hearing this, Seo-jun is shaken. His mom, with a warm and kind smile, teases him, asking if he really thought she wouldn't recognize him even with that weird mask on. She could tell from miles away that the masked man was her son. Seo-jun is left stunned, thinking his mom's skill is some next-level legendary skill. Even God couldn't sense me with my stealth, but she nailed it instantly. Overcome with emotion, Seo-jun feels a lump in his throat and tears start to fall. Man, he thinks, there's only one person in the whole universe who actually sees me for who I am. His mom reassures him, saying she doesn't know how he became so powerful, but he better take care of himself and avoid doing anything dumb. She adds, with that signature mom tone, that people can be way scarier than monsters, so he better keep his wits about him. For the first time in years, Seo-jun feels this warm, comforting vibe wash over him. Even her scolding hits different. It feels like home, but all good things come to an end. She says her last goodbye, gives him that mom look, and heads to the other world. And just like that, Seo-jun is alone again. Looking at the stack of dishes, Seo-jun sighs and mutters, "Great, now I've got to do all this boring house stuff too." While he's sulking, Eartha pops in, telling him to buck up because she's heading to heaven, and he's about to get some next-level reward for all the crazy stuff he's pulled off on Earth. The scene shifts to Seo-jun strolling into his secret basement. This wasn't just any basement. It's his personal dream factory, built with all the cash he raked in from slaying monsters, decked out with top-tier equipment. It screams mastermind at work. Seo-jun's eyes gleam as he mutters, "Man, the stuff I could make here." But before he can dive in, Eartha pops up again. Seo-jun, feeling a bit frazzled, asks how she zoomed back from heaven so fast. What floors him, though, is her appearance. She's human-sized now. Seo-jun's jaw practically drops. "What the heck? How'd you suddenly grow like that?" he blurts out. Eartha smirks and explains, with a flick of her wrist, that this was her real form all along. She just shrank herself before to make things easier. With an elegant move, Eartha extends her hand and asks for his. Seo-jun, feeling a little awkward, gives her his hand. Her touch feels cool yet silky smooth. Suddenly, the system dings and announces that Seo-jun's Heaven Quest Angel Agent duty is complete. Because Seo-jun outperformed everyone on Earth, he's granted a special reward, the Eternal Flame. Seo-jun's jaw drops. "Wait, what?" he exclaims. At the same moment, the furnace in his workshop glows brightly. Flames burst out, and before his eyes, they begin to take on a life of their own. Eyes, a face, and everything. Seo-jun's mind is running at 100 miles an hour. What is this insane gift? He thinks, with a grin spreading across his face. Seo-jun knows this is just the beginning of something epic. Seo-jun is excited to see the flame and thinks about all the amazing stuff he can create with it. This was exactly what he wanted. However, AA interrupts, pointing out that Lila sent this gift for Seo-jun from heaven. Pissed, Eartha complains about how Lila always gave her trouble when she was in heaven. Seo-jun, hearing Lila's name, drifts off, thinking about her and saying, Lila always knows what the hell I want. Seo-jun is then given a quest. Since the gods messed up and left him on Earth while everyone else went to the other world, the gods now expect him to create dungeons on Earth. Confused and angry, Seo-jun quickly realizes Eartha is just dumping her work on him. Shouting, Seo-jun says, "What kind of messed up god makes a mistake? Leaves me alone for 1,000 years, and now expects me to do there. This is absolute." Eartha, sweating like crazy, nervously explains that the monsters on Earth have developed resistance to God's power. Seo-jun is the only one capable of fixing this mess. Shocked by AA's sudden praise, Seo-jun finds it suspicious as hell. Why the hell is she complimenting me? He wonders. Shouting again, Seo-jun accuses AA of buttering him up to do some ridiculously hard stuff. Eartha, avoiding his gaze, stays quiet. Annoyed, Seo-jun demands to know what happens if he refuses. Eartha tells him, calmly but with a sly tone, that if Seo-jun doesn't create the dungeons, the monsters will destroy the Earth, and it'll all be his fault. Perfect. Still pissed, Seo-jun mutters about how useless these so-called gods are. Eartha then brings out a shitload of high-level precious materials and tools for Seo-jun to use. Seeing all the glittering tools and resources, Seo-jun's jaw drops, and he almost drools. Thrilled, he picks them up, but Eartha immediately cuts in, saying he's just borrowing the tools, they're not his. Annoyed but intrigued, Seo-jun asks how the hell he's supposed to make dungeons. Eartha pulls out a blueprint and explains the process. Seo-jun needs to craft a magic tool that attracts monsters and converts an area into a dungeon. Seo-jun knows this task will be a pain in the ass, but the rewards sound worth it. AA promises he'll get the best rewards. As Seo-jun begins crafting, Eartha watches him like a hawk. She's shocked by how amazing good Seo-jun is at blacksmithing. For a second, she wonders if she made a mistake recommending the Lancer class instead of blacksmithing. If Seo-jun had chosen blacksmithing, maybe he could have created weapons capable of kicking gods' asses. Seo-jun shapes the tool carefully, focusing like a laser, with sweat dripping. He hopes not to mess it up. Watching his dedication, Eartha realizes this must be how Lila felt watching Seo-jun for 1,000 years. For a brief moment, a smile creeps onto her face, but she quickly shakes it off, muttering to herself, "Nope, not catching feelings for this bastard." Finally, Seo-jun finishes the tool, holding it up triumphantly. "Done," he shouts. Eartha is floored by the result. Seo-jun has reached the maximum level of blacksmithing, earning the badass title of Creator of Legends. The bastard actually pulled it off. Seo-jun stood there holding the base for the dungeon, looking like he owned the place. Meanwhile, Eartha was stunned, scratching her head, wondering how Seo-jun had managed to finish so fast. With a smirk, Seo-jun teased, "What's up, AA? Did you sneak some wine from heaven?" 6 hours have already zipped by. Eartha, led bewildered, had been so caught up watching Seo-jun work that she hadn't even noticed the time flying by. Reluctantly, Seo-jun handed her the dungeon base. AA, trying to act unimpressed, muttered, "Well, Seo-jun barely passed." But deep down, she knew he'd crushed it. She quickly added that she'd summon her fellow angels for the mana crafting. Hearing fellow angels, Seo-jun's heart nearly leaped out of his chest. Maybe, just maybe, Lila would show up. But AA, with her usual knack for ruining the vibe, dropped the bad news. Lila wasn't coming. AA then summoned 3 angels. When they appeared, Seo-jun's jaw nearly hit the floor. These weren't just angels. They were drop-dead gorgeous beings that didn't seem real. As they arrived, they stared at Seo-jun like he was some kind of circus act, saying they couldn't believe a lowly human had created a dungeon so quickly. Seo-jun's pride took a hit, and he felt a wave of irritation. But when he took a good look at their stunning faces, his anger fed a bit. As he glanced at AA, he realized something. Now that she was in her full size, she was pretty damn beautiful. He shook his head, mumbling that he hadn't noticed it before. Eartha clapped her hands, snapping him out of his thoughts. "Focus, Seo-jun. Have the willpower to finish the dungeon," she barked. The angels surrounded Seo-jun, placing their hands on him to share mana. Seo-jun immediately felt like he was being hit by a truck, but gritted his teeth, staying focused on crafting the dungeon. The white-haired angel watched, clearly impressed, saying she couldn't believe a human could handle their mana. The black-haired angel, on the other hand, looked ticked off, grumbling that his ego was hurting seeing Seo-jun do so well. Meanwhile, the green-haired angel seemed to find Seo-jun's effort fascinating. A bright light burst out, signaling the completion of the dungeon. The angels were blown away, marveling at how Seo-jun had nailed it on his first try. What's more, the dungeon had alpha and beta op options, rare features that usually didn't show up this early. AA explained that these options were super rare and added even more power to the dungeon. The angels begrudgingly praised Seo-jun, clearly impressed despite their initial doubts. Seo-jun, trying not to look too smug, joined them in setting up the dungeon. They moved to a nearby mountain where Eartha tossed the dungeon core into the air. Seo-jun tilted his head, confused, as it suddenly vanished. Moments later, the ground began to rumble, and Seo-jun spotted monsters heading straight for the dungeon. Watching the creatures charge toward their doom, Seo-jun couldn't help but chuckle. Man, these poor guys have no clue what's waiting for them, thinking about how God had bailed on Earth for thousands of years. Seo-jun clenched his fists. He wasn't about to sit around whining. Instead, he was ready to level up his game. With a serious face, clenching his fists so tightly his knuckles turned white, Seo-jun swore to himself he would get stronger, so strong that even God wouldn't be able to control him. This wasn't for anyone else, not for praise, not for recognition. It was for one thing and one thing only, to claim his own freedom. The next day, it is reported that dungeons have appeared in various parts of the world, attracting monsters. Seo-jun wonders how his parents are doing. Eartha praises Seo-jun's hard work, but Seo-jun, shrugging off the compliment, claims he needs to make more dungeons and wonders why the angels have already left. AA explains that the angels need to recharge their mana and return to heaven. Seo-jun then mentions that there are other angels like Lila. Eartha tells him that Lila is busy working because of him and won't be able to see him for the time being. Later, Seo-jun goes back to his workshop, and Eartha notices the materials he has collected. She offers to reward Seo-jun for his dedication. With a wave of her hand, she dries and sterilizes the monster's leathers in an instant. Seo-jun grins, thrilled that he can now make boots and gloves. After some time, Seo-jun successfully creates a set of leather gloves and boots. Next, he starts crafting armor from bare leather. Eartha watches him with a soft smile, enjoying how Seo-jun dives into his crafting with such passion. A day passes, and Seo-jun completes the bare armor. However, he doesn't stop there. He strengthens the armor using monster bones, resulting in armor with superior quality and a unique additional function: spikes that pop out like a porcupine. AA remembers the hidden mantis blade and asks why Seo-jun is making such unusual things. Seo-jun, with a smug look, claims that it's every man's dream. Eartha rolls her eyes and calls his reasoning nonsense. They notice leftover monster bones, and Seo-jun gets another idea. He crafts a butchering knife from the bones and even uses a skull to create a mask. Seo-jun equips the mask, gloves, boots, and armor. AA is shocked at how the mask has made Seo-jun's presence even weaker than before, as if he's vanished into thin air. Just then, a loud explosion echoes in the distance. A monster appears, and Eartha can't believe it hasn't been trapped in a dungeon yet. How is that even possible? She mutters in disbelief. Just then, they hear a loud explosion. A monster shows up, and Eartha can't believe it hasn't been trapped in the dungeon yet. Seo-jun, with a smirk, hopes it isn't stronger than the brown bear. He mutters that if it is, he'll have to whip up a new set of armor. Hearing this, Eartha loses it and shouts. Is Seo-jun seriously worried about making new armor instead of fighting a beast that can level a city? Seo-jun shrugs her off, pulls out his spear, and tweaks it. The weapon suddenly gains a noticeable boost in attack power. Seo-jun grins and boldly asks Eartha if he can keep the heavenly tools, but Eartha shuts him down with a flat no. They make their way to the scene where chaos reigns as a massive leopard tears through everything. The military is totally outmatched. Seo-jun notices a few awake ones hanging around, but they're way out of their depth. Most of the heavy hitters are off in the other world, chilling with elves. Without missing a beat, Seo-jun straps on his mask and dashes into action. Eartha shouts a warning. This leopard is stronger than the bear. A tank takes a shot at the leopard, but the attack bounces off like it's nothing. The leopard, ticked off, grabs the tank and tries to chomp it like a snack. Seo-jun, never missing an opportunity, jumps in and spears the leopard right in the eye, landing a clean critical hit. The crowd watching goes wild, relieved that their one and only hero, Swain Bolt, didn't go to the other world. The leopard, furious, hurls the tank aside, but Seo-jun stays on its tail. With precision, he slashes open the tank and pulls out two soldiers trapped inside. They hit the ground gasping and gratefully tell Seo-jun he's their hero. Suddenly, Seo-jun freezes, sensing something. He shouts at the soldiers to get out of there. The leopard looms, locking its feral gaze on Seo-jun. Eartha, panicked, says, "It's got you now," but Seo-jun, with that signature cocky grin, replies, "Chill, Seo-jun's got this." He tightens his grip on the spear, ready to throw down. The military and other awakened people focused their attacks on the leopard while it was distracted. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck the leopard's wounded eye. A helicopter arrived, and out stepped a stunningly beautiful woman. The onlookers couldn't believe that the Empress was such a beauty all along. The leopard charged at Seo-jun, but he dodged by jumping into the air. Taking advantage of this, the leopard aimed to attack him midair. The crowd below gasped in fear, certain he might die, but to their shock, Seo-jun curled up midair like a porcupine, landing unscathed, feeling proud. Seo-jun smirked, but Eartha quickly remarked how ridiculous he looked. She sarcastically compared his pose to something Lila would mock, and Seo-jun grumbled, unwilling to imagine Lila seeing him like that. Meanwhile, the monster flailed and rammed into a building for a headbutt, but Seo-jun managed to escape just in time. Seo-jun retaliated, leaping onto the leopard with his spiked boots and landing a critical hit with his spear. He continued attacking relentlessly while others targeted the leopard's legs. Eartha suddenly warned him to hurry, that thing's evolving into Class 3. Tentacles began sprouting from the leopard's wounded eye, and Eartha confirmed the mutation was underway. Just then, another lightning strike hit, revealing the Empress watching from above. Seo-jun hacked at the regenerating tentacles, but they kept coming back. The Empress offered to buff Seo-jun, and though surprised, he agreed. She leapt from the helicopter, landing gracefully in front of him. Her calm voice carried authority as she declared, "My life is in your hands now." With her powers, Seo-jun's stats increased by 50%, and he gained a lightning buff, though she warned him of the side effect. His stats would drop by 50% once the buff ended. Now pumped up, Seo-jun went on the offensive, striking the leopard with a mix of critical and lightning hits. The Empress urged him to finish quickly, hinting that the military might launch missiles otherwise. Seo-jun, concerned about his nearby workshop, attacked with full force. With one last devastating strike, the leopard was destroyed, earning Seo-jun experience points and a level up. Eartha commended Seo-jun, but his satisfaction quickly soured when he realized the leopard's leather was ruined. Dashing his hopes of crafting leopard armor, AA asked sarcastically, "Is that really more important?" Seo-jun noticed the military struggling to dismantle the corpse and offered to help on the condition they discussed how to split the spoils. The Empress suggested a 60/20/20 split. 60% to Seo-jun, 20% to the military, and 20% to the other hunters. Reluctantly, the military agreed, lightening Seo-jun's mood. Climbing onto the corpse, Seo-jun retrieved a mana stone, which the Empress agreed was a fair dividend for him doing all the work. But then, grumbles arose from the hunters and some military personnel, complaining that the mana stone should be shared since everyone had risked their lives. Eartha scoffed, typical lowly beings, quick to whine and accuse after being saved. Seo-jun, annoyed, agreed to give up the mana stone. AA was disappointed, asking why he was backing down, but Seo-jun, with a sly grin, shared his plan. He recalled his mother's advice. If words don't solve a problem, there's always a final solution. Your fist? She had flexed her Sigma Asian mom muscles, leaving Seo-jun in awe. Seo-jun dramatically tossed the mana stone back into the leopard's corpse and shouted angrily, "Take it, but only if you beat me for it. And next time another monster shows up, I'll wait until you're all dead before I act. That way, no one will complain, as you'll all be in heaven." Hearing this, the others quickly backed off, muttering that Seo-jun should keep the mana stone. The Empress requested her share of the dismantling, promising to pay Seo-jun extra for his effort later. She called for a car to transport the materials.
So the video ends here. If you don't want to miss the next part, activate the notification bell. Thank you for watching. See you in next interesting video.